What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the No Cap Space post-game show. Man, this was a game that was a bit slow to begin with, but this post-game show is not going to be that. We got a big post-game show on deck. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Sky and the Storm, and Reese keeping her double-double record going, the Storm getting a little bit of revenge, a little bit of pettiness online between the admins, which, you know, is always a little fun. But also, we got a guest coming in here shortly after we talk about this game. Jaylyn Sherrod, the newest signee of the New York Liberty, friend of No Cap Space. We've had so we'll be getting into that here in a little bit. But let's talk about this game first. It was, like I said, it was nasty to begin with. It was
been a nasty game.
It was a nasty game. Yeah, they were on the whatever. Well, you know, like, come on now.
Somebody gonna match my streak?
Hey, man. Ain't nobody matching Angel Reese's streak right now.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Now, we've gone from single season to consecutive season. Ain't nobody matching the double streak of Angel Reese. All right, we can start there. Let's start there because this is impressive. We were talking about a little bit. Like, I'm honestly kind of shocked that like we haven't seen a streak go this long before in the WNBA. But that is not to take away anything from what Angel is doing because she just broke a canvas.
Yeah, everybody be cool.
Yeah,
be cool.
We're not taking anything away, but like I was like shocked. I was like I had never known the double streak, you know, before now, but like I would have assumed it was higher than this, honestly. But she did it. Nobody else, like, this is history. Like, so there's no double, like it's just adding on to it at this point because she had a single season and then now they kind of moved the goalpost for another record to the consecutive season. You got that one now. So like now there's really it's just making her own history now, and this is not rookie year history anymore. Been past that. This is WNBA history. So to say what she's doing is impressive is kind of an understatement at this point. Like, this is not seen before.
Like, you got to think about the bigs that came through. You know, like Sylvia Fowles didn't do this during her MVP season. Candace Parker didn't do it. Aaliyah Boston didn't do it. Asia just set the record for franchise point. Like, Asia has done something incredible every single year she's been in the league, and she still didn't do that. Like, it kind of blows my mind that this is where we are in history. So
Leslie, Lauren Jackson, like
oh yeah,
right? Like Greer, we were talking about in the chat, and we were talking, like, think about the legends of this league. There are very few guards that like jump to your mind. Like, everyone else is down there battling for boards, and none of them have
Rebecca Brunson. Didn't get a streak.
Come on, man! Like this, it's insane. Like when you look in the history books of like who, like I would have just assumed that this had already happened. But like more power to Angel for being the one to go out there and do it because this is unmatched.
Actually,
right.
And like all streaks are meant to be broken and stuff like that, but it also feels like just totally inevitable every night that she could do this because she practically had it in the first half of tonight's game. I think she might have finished the first half with like 9 and 8, 9 and 9.
Yeah, it was close.
Like, and it's just like this is expected at this point, and so to say that all-time greats like in women's basketball history period never even put things like this together.
Yep.
And then when you think of like, and we talk about all levels of basketball too. So when you think about the Courtney Paris record, right? Or because
that's who my mind like, when I thought double doubles.
You know what I mean? Like,
rest in peace, Margot Diedick.
I know that this is the pros and it's different, but never. Like,
yeah.
Man.
And I'm kind of curious if that's gonna light a fire because, like, when you break down the clips, she's, again, everybody remain calm. It's not like she's, you know, throwing people, and she's very physical and she uses her body well and she gets in position. But a lot of it is like people are not putting bodies on her like they need to. I don't know if it's like they've been so long because the streak hasn't happened. It hasn't really occurred to him like, hey, let's get back to the basics and start bodying people out because she's just doing what she wants to. She gets to her spots. She tracks the ball really well. And then when, you know, she does go up, her second jump is really, really good. So it's kind of like, I'm curious if that's going to light a fire where people are like, maybe I should have been doing this. And if they do, we already know who started it and who lit the fire. So just something to keep in mind going forward and look out for.
Now I'll be interested in like if we see any of like I'm gonna be the one to break the streak. Like if take ownership of that, like whether it's like on a good or a bad way. When you see streaks, you either don't want to be like if it's like a losing streak, you don't want to be the team that or the winning streak. You want to be like that. It becomes a challenge, and like
like step up, don't be hurt. Like you know what I'm saying, and it's locking down because I feel like Seattle has bodies, but
yeah. No, I mean, like, you got Nneka and Ezzy. Like, that's and they did their thing on the boards too.
2010, and so it's not like there weren't rebounds aplenty. They weren't fucking scoring.
There was plenty of shots. Like there was like the Sky shot 29 of 78, and the Storm shot 29 of 69, so 37 and 42% respectively. It was not a beautiful game.
Glaringly and abundantly clear. This is saying like who's going to take it to the next level. Not that people aren't trying, but like who's going to lock in and say like, okay, I got to be the one to stop this. A rookie is not going to come in our house. Nobody believes in you.
What are you prepared to do
about it?
Yeah, in the way that we've talked about a lot here, and the way that it feels like guards are taking their matchup so personally with Caitlin, it does not feel like Angel's peers in the post are doing that with her when she shows up to play.
Except Asia. Asia was the only one where I was like, oh,
they were going.
Oh Lord. All right, all right, Doc, come on. But like other than that, again, we were getting like the scouting reports before the game on who's guarding Caitlin. So I think we need to start, if coaches weren't game planning and got caught sleeping, it's about time to stop.
We about 20 plus games. Like, wake your ass up. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, no, I'm with you. But ultimately, in this game, Seattle did win. Greer, I know this is this kind of your squad. Like, what this felt like a little bit earlier in the season type of win, in the sense of like more well rounded, as opposed we saw several games where Jewel was kind of taking the offensive load and just going. She had a much better second half than the first half. Jewel did, but. General thoughts on this game for Seattle?
Much better second half guarding Kennedy Carter, who's just incredibly dynamic and really got loose in the first half there. Angel's gonna do what Angel's gonna do, but obviously Jewel kind of got hot in the second half there, so that helped because she started the game 05 or something like that.
Yeah, it was nasty,
Newsflash, your best player starts making buckets.
usually good things happen. Apparently that's how it works.
And then Nneka, obviously, 2020.
Yeah, probably one of her better games of the season, right? Like it was 24 and 10 on 9 of 15.
Yeah, just defensively, they just totally clamped down in the second half, right? And made things really difficult for a Chicago team that outside of Kennedy Carter, and who also had a really tough go at it in the second half, like just still has not found a lot of continuity with their guard rotation and where the points are going to come from if you can't feed Angel and Camilla consistently.
Yeah, which also Camilla's minutes were kind of interesting to me today.
And that's what I was going to say, because I'm kind of looking big picture. I still think like if some stuff shakes out and this was a playoff matchup, I still think Seattle would be in trouble. Like, we had a lot of upsets this weekend, and I don't think all of them were flukes. I think, like, the bottom half of the standings are rounding into form and creating matchup issues and things like that, Tyler. Like, Camilla not getting the minutes that, a lot of people felt like she should have had today, that makes a difference. So, and it's Spoon's first year, so she's still, learning and stuff like that. But, like, if she gets into form, and everybody starts clicking, that's a series that if I'm Seattle, I wouldn't want to see them in the first round.
Well, what kind of happened there? Because she didn't. I mean,
I didn't the game. See anything. Like it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that a benching? Was that a conscious choice? Was that
it wasn't foul trouble. It wasn't. Right. There was no injury that I had seen of any sort. She played like 20 minutes on the dot.
I hate to bring Twitter into this, but just from what I've been like observing from fans and stuff, like sometimes it's kind of Tanisha-ish where the lineups are like, why'd you do that? what's going on here. So maybe she. I don't know. I know that has been a thing that the fan base has been kind of on her about what's going on with these lineups, big dog.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a situation to monitor. I ain't throwing anything out the building yet, but I'm a situation because like
somebody in the chat saying they were following a game thread and maybe
Cardoso was hurt. Oh, okay, so I mean like that. Okay. That would explain it. Like if that's the case, no issue. But,
all right, hey.
Yeah, that no issue. But if not,
what I said was true when I said it. But if
it was my truth at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the truth.
That's
I was
still happening. People have still been upset about the lineup. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, I'm with it. But yeah, good win for the Storm. A little get back win. It was shaky there at the beginning, but they found a way. Like I said, a little bit more towards their kind of earlier ways of winning games in the sense of, like I said, being a little bit more well-rounded. NECA, that's a big game for her. Like, being able to see NECA kind of back into that level of form
after she got ate up on Friday night, girl.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like we haven't really seen NECA get that kind of be back in that tier for for those single game performances like that.
Bro, she's a former MVP and she didn't have the streak. Like,
come on, add her to the list. I'm about to make a list of people that should have had the streak.
No, the names are incredible. Like, you're talking about 80% of the best players to ever play this game in this league.
Mm-hmm. No, I've
never done this.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, and these are the greats. Like, if you build a top 15 out, 12 of them are going to be bigs. Like, give or take. You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is incredible what we're seeing. Like, this Rookie of the Year race, just go history for history, bar for bar. Let's do it. Like, let's just keep it up because this is fun. Before we get to our guest that is currently here in the building, I do want to show this comment. This was funny. Bill said, Shawnee has never been wrong. She thought she was wrong once, but she was mistaken.
The people have spoken.
Hey.
Hey.
That's funny. Well,
print the shirt.
Print the shirt. Hey, well, speaking of this rookie class, we got one of the no cap space homies at the very tippy top of this list.
I feel like she needs a noise. Like an air horn at this point doesn't do her justice. Like we need trumpets or something. I don't know.
I don't got anything on deck, but what I do have
on deck. Down to buffaloes make. I don't know. I feel like buffaloes. like a herd or something.
It's just like a bunch of
fake confetti. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Anyways, the newest signee to the New York Liberty, friend of no cap space, Jaylyn Sherrod is in the building. What's up, Jaylyn?
What's up? How y'all doing?
We're doing well. We're happy to have you back here in the no cap space. Like you already know. You're always welcome. You already know what it is. We appreciate you going back. The newest signee of the New York Liberty. You're back in New York. General excitement levels. How we feeling? How does it feel to be back on the roster?
No, I feel good. Being here wasn't really much of a transition, getting back into things, being that I was here for training camp and got to know the players and the staff. So that was cool to be able to come back to where I started, because that really does help the transition. Because I came out and we was on go, had a game 2 days in. So, but no, it's cool. And Brooklyn's a cool spot. It's really growing on me. So.
What's been your favorite part so far of Brooklyn? Like, what about specifically has grown on you?
I think just the convenience of it all, being from Alabama and then going to Colorado.
A little different.
People act like Birmingham's not a city, but it's a city. Like, I don't like roads and we don't ride horses and stuff like that. This is the actual biggest city I've ever been in. So just the convenience here, walking outside out of the apartment and Target's just across the street, that's easy and it's just cool. Everybody mind their business out here, so it's not really much.
Is that not common in Birmingham? Like, the people just not mind their business?
No, Birmingham's
we're
really
we talk.
Yeah, Birmingham's really it's different in the sense I hold the door for somebody here and they'll just walk in. Where in the South, you holding the door, thank you. How you doing? Good morning.
How's your mama?
Yeah, that's a little different, but in terms of just I don't know, it's way different than Colorado though, I would say. But Colorado is
but way different in a good way. And it,
Yeah, I could breathe better in Colorado though. Like I could just go outside and get a breath of
I
fresh
say,
air.
Mm.
yes, New York is never going to claim great air quality.
It's cool.
We know that.
so like
Talk
you,
about like
oh,
playing your first getting ready for your first professional game, and you got to do it at
mhm.
home in Barclays. What was that like?
My first game.
I mean, as a W, like a
Oh,
Yeah, so but
oh,
this
oh.
this one was
not
on the
no
road.
longer a training camp player,
Yeah, this one was
Yeah,
this
yeah,
was
WNBA
in
yeah, yeah.
player.
Indiana.
Um, I mean, honestly, I just approach it like I do everything else.
Mm.
I've always kind of just settled in being myself in spaces, and so that's just kind of what it was. Like I really didn't. Um, it wasn't like I don't know, just something to prove. Always with a chip on my shoulder. So I just came in, did what I always do, and kind of like felt the vibes, felt the
Mm-hmm.
team, felt how the system was running. Because as a point guard too, the system is the most important thing to know. So I mean, I just approached it like always, but also I knowing being here at training camp, being able to watch the games and seeing how they ran stuff too when I wasn't here,
Mm-hmm.
was very helpful as well because I could look at the game and be like, oh, this is what they ran or blah 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 blah. So
Right.
just staying engaged and just staying prepared too, and not letting getting waived early just completely shut down basketball, but always
Mm-hmm.
staying engaged and always staying ready.
Okay, because that was gonna basically be my question. Because like these 7 days, you got some games. You got some matchups. You start with Indiana and a player you've seen. And Caitlin Clark a couple times. Don't check out Chicago coming up.
Yeah, Connecticut's first.
Connecticut, Chicago, like they got some guards. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what were you able to take from that so far? That's gonna help you. These next couple matchups because there's some tough ones. But like that's why they went and got you. So
Well, I think it's actually crazy when you think about it because Connecticut and Chicago were my preseason games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are
ah,
teams that I was actually able to be here and see and like actually like be on the same court
Right.
as some of these players. So I think it's crazy how the timing worked out, honestly. But I mean, it's basketball at the end of the day, and I really don't like y'all know me. I don't really put weight on a lot of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
true.
um, I think it's just like being prepared when your number's called, being prepared when your name is called, and not really like putting too much pressure on yourself to go prove something. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't prove I was good enough to be here. So I don't
Right.
really take the weight of proving that I deserved it to be here. It's an opportunity, and it's just one that when my number's called, I'm gonna just go out there and do what I do.
I'm interested. Was there anything between like whether from the moment your time at Colorado ends to now? Is there anything about this process, whether it be during the draft process or the training camp or anything that kind of surprised you that maybe like you hadn't kind of thought of or anything prior to going through this as a whole?
Yeah, I would say the past couple months been a lot of being completely honest, a lot of emotional, like just roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
Being from how season ended to not getting drafted for one was just
Mm-hmm.
completely like okay, and then
Yeah.
two when got the call from New York to come to training camp, then it was all right. Well, how do I best prepare myself to go to a team that was in the finals last year? Like I'm not just going to a team that's growing and you have the space to be a rookie. Like, nah, I'm finna go play with people that are at the
They do this. Yeah, they do
top of the
this.
list. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just having the mental prepared in, and then coming to training camp, playing how I did, doing what I did, and still getting cut was just like it left a bad taste in my mouth to be completely honest. But it was more so of like okay, this is how the league works, but I just got to stay ready because I don't. At that point I didn't know who was gonna call.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, who was gonna need it or in what space or could have went from New York all the way to LA. Like it was so
Yeah.
much of what if. So I think just staying grounded and not really like it was just fully out of my control. So
Mm-hmm.
just staying grounded of like what can I control, and not trying to grasp too tight to make things try to work to what I want it to work, but actually just being present in moments. And I'm not gonna lie, the breakaway from basketball was great for me. I got to travel, I got to see friends and family, and
Mm-hmm.
take a break and just kind of breathe without having to, oh, I gotta go back to school in a couple months, oh, I gotta go back. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
was still good to work out, but it was also good to, I can just go hang out with my friends on a Wednesday and just chill and go home after. Like, I didn't have the stress of, having practice in the morning and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So yeah, it was cool.
Has
How,
there been? Oh, go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
I was wondering, like, how does it feel though to know that now, like, a team that did invest in you before the season began, wanted you back when space allowed for it, right? And like, we know that the New York Liberty fan base in particular is
Yes,
super vocal
Yo Mitch has
about
been getting blown
wanting
up
you
for a
on.
minute now.
So like, for a fan base that had already embraced you as one of their own, and then
Mm,
for the front office to say like, we also recognize her value and what she can
Mhm.
bring to this team. So how does it feel to just like for it to come kind of full circle in Brooklyn?
I mean, it's a blessing. And I think just the team and everybody has really embraced me. Um, and so I think that also makes it a little bit easier because you don't have the, like, fresh, well, rookie, but you don't have like pressure of like, oh, who can I talk to? Where do I go?
mm.
Like,
There's no reintroduction at all. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
nah,
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
just like, Sloop, what is this? Like, what do we
yeah.
Yeah.
do? So it's just kind of like a ease transition back into it. But I mean, it is a blessing, and it's also a blessing when you have the support of, a fan base as big as
Yeah.
the New York Liberty. Because I
Yeah.
mean, they come out and they turn up for their people. So um, I'm excited. I'm excited to be in Barclays, actually on the court, on a part of the team this weekend, and just really like giving. I feel like it's always a give and take, and if you have so many people pour into you, I think it's fair to do your part of giving some of that back. So just being what people want me to be, and being who I can be, and why people fell in love with me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Have you
You,
linked up with Big Ellie yet?
yeah. You and Ellie, we
No,
do. We see like some
When,
TikToks with you and Ellie. Like, what are
when,
we?
when we getting the Big Ellie content? Y'all about to do a dance routine?
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I ain't never been one for the spotlight, and I just feel like it's just two polar opposite personalities.
Yeah, Ellie's kind of about the spotlight. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh,
Ellie,
Ellie got to bring you out of your shell. That's all that
As
means.
long hey, do your thing. I support
no, 'cause I saw that little video, like Sabrina, like Ellie was taking her pictures, and Sabrina was like, "Nah, you got it," and I was like,
it.
"I feel that. Like, I would not follow up. You got it, big dog.
Follow up Ellie? What?
Take your
Yeah, like
time. Take your
I'm
time.
good." Yeah.
Take your
So I
time.
did have a question because you mentioned how just staying grounded and kind of staying ready for when your number is called. Just from a more technical standpoint, right? Like you have the luxury of going back to a team that you were on with training camp. But like if LA calls, after, how do you stay prepared and like just jump in immediately for a completely different team? Like just how are players able to? What's the real main thing to kind of stay ready to adjust no matter what team you're going to?
I think it all just depends. Well, for one, I would say if a team calls you, they call you for a reason.
Hmm.
So I feel like a lot of mistakes, and this, I obviously haven't been in the league long,
Right.
but I feel like from college, a lot of kids go into spots trying to be something that they're not. When
Hmm.
a coach wouldn't have recruited you, a coach wouldn't have been on the phone with you if they didn't like who you already were. So trying to change yourself in spaces where all you got to do is be yourself is just really like it kind of is counterintuitive. Like you're putting yourself in, I find that you put yourself in a hole trying to be
Mm-hmm.
somebody, or trying to raise, from a 8 to 10 overnight, where that's
Right.
just not like, be the best 8 you can be, and then you grow to be that 10 over time. So I think no matter what, like, whatever happens, whoever calls, or how everything works out, like, I know what I bring to the table, and I know, like, on any team that's transferable, because for one, I just feel like my energy is very infectious, and I just like have a lot of intangibles that I've always said, I'm not putting up 30 points a night, but what I do is very, I don't know,
It's not
It's
a
like
it's
stat
niche.
sheet.
unique,
You know,
yeah,
like,
It's
it's
niche.
just,
Like
but
there's not many people doing what you do and bringing
no,
that
like
kind
the
of
yeah.
bread.
streets recognize that. That's
Yeah,
why people were like super upset. You know, when they
because
didn't see you on the roster. Yeah,
yeah,
like it shows
it
up
felt
and it
like
translates.
you felt a need, and that's why I think everyone
Mhm.
was so going up for you in the way that they did because of those intangibles. Like, so I believe it. I also wanted to add, you mentioned Sloot. Lord knows we've had a lot of talk about bets in the league this season. Just in general, like in your experience, like with with the Liberty and whether it might be Sloot, has there been certain players that have kind of taken you on your wing and kind of help lead the way from you with that kind of veteran presence?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really a sponge, so I ask questions all day.
Hmm.
Because I don't like being confused, or I don't like not knowing what's going on. Like, I just don't
Fair.
like being in
Same.
spaces like that. So I'm gonna ask. If I don't know, I ain't gonna lie, but I don't know. So
Hmm.
I'm not about to even go out here and just do something, because I find my head coach at Colorado used to always say, "I would rather you ask than go out there and try to fake it." So I
Hmm.
don't know if that's just because of that's the program I was in out of college, or whatever that kind of molded that. But I mean, I would say really KT, Kayla Thornton, and KB, and Benaja has really just really helped me. Like, I talk to them all the time about what's going on, what's needed. But I mean, I talk to everybody. Like, when I signed at training camp, I got on the phone with Sabrina and I was like, "Yo, what am I walking into?"
Hmm.
And that was before I even came out here initially. Like, this was like maybe a couple days after the draft, just
Yeah.
because my head coach and her head coach at Oregon are really close. So
Mm.
I got her to
Cool.
connect us, because I just didn't want to
Rest in
walk
peace,
in.
Pac-12.
Rip.
Yeah.
Rip.
Pour one out.
Rip.
So it was just kind of like ask as many questions as possible. And then during
Hmm.
training camp, I really asked Sloot a lot of questions, just being point guards and needing to know, like, okay, what do you see? How do you get people in the best position? What does this person like to do? What plays are for
Right.
them? But
Right.
like, just to learn the X's and O's as quickly as possible, because with training camp only being 2 weeks, it
Yeah.
moves very fast. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, I talk to everybody and I'm cool with everybody, because
Hmm.
I just asked a lot of questions from jump. So I
Yeah.
didn't really like. Surprisingly enough, I wasn't a kid in the back of the class with the hood on that just didn't talk. That's my normal
You in the back of eating
personality.
Takis, like in the meetings.
But now I was like, you know what? I'm gonna really just take advantage of this opportunity
Yeah.
as much as possible. Because, like I said, being on a team of this caliber too, who was in the finals last year,
Right.
is an opportunity to learn from. How do you even get there,
Hmm.
and what that process look like, regardless of, you always want to take a winning mentality no matter where you are. So
Right.
if it was an opportunity here and I could go and I ended up going somewhere else, I would still take a lot of what I learned here
For sure.
wherever.
Yeah, that
Because
makes
you
sense.
got some players that have kind of had a similar journey. Because like I remember, like campaigning for Benaja to get most improved and stuff, and watching her carve her niche in the league. Kayla Thornton. That's what I want to ask you, Kayla. Like, bro, I be seeing the videos. What is up with her? Is she like?
What is up with her?
Is she
Um,
is she
All the
funny like
time.
that all the time?
no,
Right.
KT's hilarious, bro. Like, she's actually hilarious. Like, I don't know. It's just she has a very infectious personality, and she's always making somebody laugh, and yeah, that girl, like, genuinely though, like, she that's who she is, and that's how she acts. And I don't know. I don't know
It's
what else to
funny.
say. Like, it's
No,
just.
no, but I love the fact, like, I feel like to Shawnee's point, like Benaja and KT, like when you think about players that were able to carve a role and grow,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
that, those feel like perfect. Like if when it comes to like if you could think of like, okay, across the league, who would be best to learn from, like those feel like incredible players to
Mhm.
like just to have just kind of role wise and like the way that they've grown over the course of their career. So Like that feels like a perfect opportunity for you, just in that sense. I also see, obviously, we got people here watching live in the chat. I see Dana asked a question. What was your favorite moment while at Colorado? And he said, can it please not be the win over Duke? I think Dana's a Duke fan, so sorry, Dana. but like that's I mean, what was the favorite moment? What sticks out?
I don't know, man. I would say maybe if we had fans in the crowd, this would be like. But during COVID, when we beat Stanford when they were #1 in the country,
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like it wasn't no fans there. We had the cardboard cutouts of families and stuff like that.
They couldn't storm the court. The cardboard couldn't storm the court.
An experience like that, because that's the next year the guys beat Arizona on senior night when Arizona was like #2, and I would remember storming the court for that, and I was like, that would have been such a cool moment to experience. But I don't know. Other than that, I would probably say the Stanford game this year. Just because I feel like that's when things really took off for me last season, especially when like the whole Cameron Brate night thing went viral, which wasn't. It was just crazy how the whole thing played out. But
I mean, we know her, and we know how she gets down.
We know
it
wasn't even torture. Like Cam talks trash, but that game wasn't even really like. It wasn't a lot of trash talk. It wasn't a lot of. Nah, she just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It just happened to get caught like that.
Got caught up, yeah.
I would say that game was really cool, and just seeing how like sold out the event center got for our games this year.
Yeah.
In general, because from where I was as a freshman coming to where I left it was
it's crazy.
Like a whole 360 to see like 12,000 people in an arena to watch us play basketball. So it was really cool.
Yeah. No, I love that. Like I said, rip the Pac-12, man. There was some for you, like being in the Pac-12 this past. I know, like for us, like we were super tapped in, like just kind of across the whole conference. What was that experience like? Because it really was like every night was a battle for y'all.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I think from Oregon State coming out of nowhere, being good, and then you had Juju, of course, and then you had my sleeper of the year, Kiki, going crazy. And it was just like, pick your poison. Like, who really, like, what do you really, like, it was just, I don't know. Them scouts was, like, crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it was, like, preparation like you said, every weekend. Because we play Friday, Sunday, too.
Right. No, it's quick.
We didn't have the 2 days in between like everybody else has in their conference. So it's like you got UCLA on Friday, and I gotta go turn around and guard Juju for 40 minutes. Like
hell no. Hell no.
Like it was just like, man, what do we like? What pick one? Like
y'all got it.
And nobody was just. I'm not in the pack no more. So other than Oregon, he was really like, I can't just go out here and just do whatever. Like
right, yeah. I mean, they were they were like the only team that was like bad. Like every other team.
In a real like genuine rebuilding process.
Right,
so it was like
everyone else could catch you.
Everybody else had been together for years or had multiple. Like it was. Only other new team really was USC, but they had Juju, so it was like they were still good. But
that'll do it.
If you go back and look at any of those teams, all of us were together for at least 2 to 3 years and playing against each other. So even like Charlize Ledger Walker at Washington State, it was just like, dude, like
every team had someone capable of getting you that night. Like it was crazy.
It's like
so then like oh my bad. Because what's kind of the biggest difference now playing in the W? Like, is it more physical? Is the gameplay faster? Like, what have you noticed that you kind of had to adjust after having that gauntlet all season?
I would say really just learning new people and learning like new styles of play. Like I guess in a sense, when you are in it for a long time. So if you ask me this in the future, I will have a better answer.
Right.
Of like learning people. But I would say right now, just kind of knowing like everything is not. It's a system, but everybody can go get a bucket. Or
Mm.
you not running a Princeton offense to get this and look at like nah. It's just like all right, well, if you on the ISO with Kennedy Carter, you on the ISO with Kennedy Carter.
Yeah. Good
It's
luck. Have
God
fun.
bless.
Yeah.
And I use her
You're
phrase because that's who I put. That's who I in the preseason. That's
Yeah.
who I'm
Yeah.
saying. But it's like nah, like you got to help defense. It's a system, but at the same time, it's just like man, whoever the mismatch on this possession, that's who people are exploiting. So it's
Mm-hmm.
always just a continuous like read and react. It's a lot more reading and reacting
Mm.
in
Mm.
the pros than I would say college, where things are more scripted or
Yeah.
you know I've heard this play called 13 times, so I know that
Mm.
it's possession. Like, yeah, I need to be locked in, or
Yeah.
I can sniff out a play because I know, all right, they coming off a stagger, so this finna go. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have more of a read on that in college, but
And that's a
in
freshman. They ain't getting the ball. Move.
yeah, like this
I
is
was gonna
not getting
ask
crazy.
because you're gonna be a grad assistant at Colorado next year. I think that
Mhm.
was the news that came out about you when the season completed, and so you'll be taking your WNBA training camp, this week and hopefully many more weeks to go into that experience. Like, how has your basketball IQ just changed in the last 4 months?
Well, I would say I think it was some easier things we could have did in college that would have made life a little bit
Yeah.
easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I will
Mm-hmm.
say I understand the how advanced it is
Yeah.
to try to do stuff like that, like the switching or because when you switch in college, like if you get stuck on air and net, you stuck and you might as well go put the 2 points on the board. Whereas
Mm.
in the
Yeah.
pros, like all right, if I end up switching on the big, Stewie might come help me out, and then I can switch back. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
more like, where in college it's like, man, either you gonna follow or just put 2 points on the board because it's too much. Like that would just cause a whole breakdown of your defense if
Mm-hmm.
you try to switch mid play like that. So I would say just uh, I don't know that, and I will also add more so like just get a feel for the game. Like I feel like we put so much pressure on, and this is me knowing my teammates that are still at
Yeah.
Colorado. So, just like doing this and being where you're supposed to be at this point and this point, and it's just like man, stuff breaks down all the time, and you just gotta play, and
Right.
you just gotta go into it like with a mentality of like, all right, well, if things don't go how it's supposed to, or what's next, and just being able to play off each other. And I think team chemistry really, really is a big factor in that. And so I would say so far that would be my biggest takeaways that I would take back. But I don't know, that's a whole new team up there in Colorado. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to really, when we're in the Olympic break, I'm actually gonna go back and try to meet people and
Mm.
be back up there for a couple days before we have to get back. So I'm excited. I am
How
excited.
hard is it gonna be to like not, put your jersey on and like, try and check in and nothing like that?
Give me one sec. I forgot it got dark out here.
The dog was like, oh, what's going on?
um, I'm sorry. Okay, what were you asking?
And I said like, how you gonna have to, fight the demons to go check in? Like, how you gonna stay on the bench?
Yeah, I'd be sick knowing my coach could lock me up.
I don't know. I think looking at it from a different perspective will be good for me. Um, but I also think being around. I don't know. I feel like this is my like playing was a way to give back to Colorado and knowing the story between us and that staff, but also being able to like be there every day in a different way and help out in a different manner.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I really feel in debt to Colorado in so many ways because they were the only school that really gave me an
Yeah.
opportunity. So, any way I can help out, like I'm willing to do so. And so, um, yeah, that program and that staff means a lot to me, and they've been my biggest fans even now, being away and stuff like that. So I would say whatever way I can help, but I'm not gonna sit there and say my competitiveness is not gonna come out, or I just know myself. I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna still be who I am. But yeah, it's just about trying to help the next and still give back, because like the point guards that's there have been there since I've started, and seeing Kendall being a senior now is crazy, because she was a freshman when she came in, and then seeing the freshman we got last year healthy back out there. Just being able to give them knowledge and feed into it, and Frida's now the 5th-year senior.
Yeah.
Big Frida.
Big Frida.
Who's been there forever. So,
just
it's crazy to see how time flies, and how people have grown. But I'm really excited for them in a new conference. So it'll be fresh for me too. I wasn't in the Big 12, so I don't know them people either. So we're gonna be figuring it out together. We're gonna be figuring it out together.
Listen, sounds like you're gonna be cooking them at practice too.
Yeah, Big 12's a blast. You already know.
Yeah, you the OG. You gotta hold it down. Remind them who you are.
Hey, listen. Run ones with me right now. They say one. They don't run. They don't run laps.
Hey, Frida. Look here, Frida.
They don't run laps. They gotta run ones with you.
It's one-on-one with the Undertaker.
The Undertaker. Come on now.
Be on scout team, yeah.
Jaylyn get up from the bench. You hear the gong go off. Like. Well, Jaylyn, we're super stoked for you to obviously be back on this Liberty roster. We're excited to hear about your journey, going into the coaching side and everything. You already know this is your home away from home here in No Cat Space. You already know what it is. It's all nothing but love for you. And we're excited to see you doing your thing for real.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, Jaylyn, thank you so much for coming through. Thank y'all for coming to this edition of the No Cat Space post-game show. If y'all haven't checked out our interview, also, we just dropped one last week with Sanaya Rivers. Go check that out. We got another one dropping this week, I'll tell you right now, with another player that was in the Final Four. That's all I'm going to give you, but you could be on the lookout for that. We got some big names coming. It's a big month of July here at No Cap Space, so make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, all the links down below, and we'll see you next time.